There's like a. I have no idea. Live? I'm not used to going live.
Who cares? No one gives a shit.
No one gives a shit. It's fine. It's okay. We're all good. No one cares. No one cares that at all. Yeah, is that the attitude we're going in with this?
That's the attitude.
I think so.
Alright, we've got nine
There we
people
go.
are watching us, so get on.
That's great.
Yeah.
But do you mind?
Yeah.
Is it okay if you don't listen to the podcast while you're on the fucking podcast, Chloe?
Oh, but you just checking for you. Fuck you.
Wow, I don't know. I'm bringing that
we-
sat energy. So
We got to try bring the language down just a little.
oh yeah, crap. We're live, aren't we?
Oh, we
Yeah.
don't have to swear.
Oh
We
yeah,
can't
wait,
see you
let's
next,
not.
No more see you next Tuesdays.
Oh, wait,
Especially on the live
that was
one.
you. That was you, David.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Actually, that was you
it-
last week, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was.
Right. Okay. Shall we do
deserved
the
it.
intro? Should we get started on this?
Let's try to
Actually,
predict what
tell
we're
you
gonna
what.
talk about.
Let's just do the quick ground rules. If you guys want, message us throughout. We'll try and as we're going through it, we've got all the messages up here. By the way, hello. We're going live on Facebook. We're going live on YouTube. So yeah, just ask us questions. If you've got any inputs, we'll try and read them off best we can. But if we don't get to your comments straight away, it's because we don't like you.
Ah,
Oh no!
Like,
sorry. I mean,
and
it's
we
because
are-
we're professionals.
we are actually doing the podcast as well, so we should state that as well. So
Oh yes,
We
so
should
this
have- we
will
should
be
have a
going out
producer.
tomorrow.
it is actually the podcast. So
Yeah.
there you
So
go.
hello, Timo, Neil, Elizabeth, and Anarchy Rider. Is that your first name? Is that your Christian name? I don't think it might be, but it's all good. Right, shall we get started?
Let's do this.
Sure.
Right. Let's see if I nail this first time. So just a bit of background for everyone who is watching live, because this part, only the people who are watching live, you're the only ones that will actually see this. I don't always nail this first time. We'll just go with that.
This is why we've recently given up and just go with an intro, whatever happens.
I could have 2 hours of bloopers of Tom trying to read this out.
Oh my
Or
Yeah,
trying
and
to- yeah, I really
that
could.
see you
A
next
lot of
Tuesday
swearing.
thing would have been in there.
many times.
Right, okay, let's do this. We'll just adjust it. I'll sit upright so I can bring on the correct energy. This week, we go live on YouTube. I almost got murdered last night. David tells us a story where he breaks a truck, and Chloe angers a bunch of women. So, let's strap down, let's strap in, and let's do this.
How do we know we're going to talk about that?
We're professionals.
Just another trucking podcast.
Hello,
Hi.
this is Just Another Trucking Podcast. I am your host, Tom, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friends, my co-hosts, and people that I have to put up with on a weekly basis. So, yeah, there we are.
What's up
week.
with us? Unbelievable. You're
Excuse me.
amazing.
What? I broke my truck. What are you talking about? Are you
Well, no,
presuming that I have a story where I broke my truck?
So,
Oh,
that
so
what you're-
normally, bit of context, we record that after the show normally.
So you're just presuming that in my years of experience,
I'm
I've
just
actually broken
saying,
a truck.
statistically, there is gonna be a story of where you break a truck, and
Okay,
Oh,
fine.
well,
I have
Tom,
I have
There
lots
is-
of stories. Now I have to come up with the best one.
You're the one
Okay,
that
so-
broke 3 Volvos in one go.
oh, it was 3. Yeah, I had to count
Yes,
for a
thank
second. It
you.
was actually 3 Volvos. That is something I did. That's a badge of
So
honor in
it's
a way.
quite likely you to do it, yeah.
I still feel a bit bad about that. And I will also say as well, statistically, Chloe is going to annoy someone and anger someone. So, again, we'll just
Since
assume.
when? When do I ever do that?
Since ever. Since
ever.
ever.
Since always.
Since when has it not been a thing that's happened?
I don't know. It does seem to be a thing
Exactly.
that happens.
There we go. Right. So, just very quickly, for those people who are listening in your trucks, we'll be reading out comments as they come in live. But bear in mind, they're not live for you because
Unlucky.
It's a podcast, and I don't know when you're driving this. I mean, I don't even know what you're doing. I mean, I would assume you're concentrating on driving. God help us if you're not. But if you're doing a David, you might be watching a film in your windscreen. Who knows? One time. Although that'd be
Everyone's doing it now. Everyone's doing it.
Oh my god, did I just give people a bunch of hacks? Oh, shucks.
Right.
What you could do is you could. Oh, bring that up. Have you seen there's a picture recently where someone did they had a projector and they projected their screen onto the trailer in front of them at a trailer park. What that is?
They weren't driving. Okay.
No.
Sorry, just want to make sure. Yeah, okay. I can see that happening.
Behind a truck and they decide.
Yeah, and then they just put a projector on. That's good. That is genius.
Let's just acknowledge the genius, but also there is also the other issue that, firstly, you have to have gone in behind a truck and be kind of at the back end of it, and secondly,
I think this was on the side, so it was like the whole side of the white trailer.
Oh, that's fucking cool. I was going to say, because
cool
the other thing, it has to be a white trailer. You can't do that on any stop
no, it
can
does
you?
have to be a white one.
There's never.
We can't have too much graphics on it as well.
Exactly, yeah. Otherwise, you're going to have a logo throughout the entire video, aren't you? So,
sponsored by Eddie Stobart's.
exactly, yeah.
Should we get housekeeping out of the way just in case we forget?
Oh my god!
Sorry, we're already tangenting. Yeah, maybe we should.
Yeah. Go to salmonslap.com if you want to get any merchandise. As you can see, you can get our beautiful t-shirts that we're wearing. No, sorry, none of us are wearing any t-shirts that are.
Oh god, we're not.
Our logo on it.
Oh no!
This should have been the time. One of these, I will actually buy a t-shirt. All right, I shouldn't have to.
Oh no, David, you're wearing a classic grey.
For an hour and a half waiting to get this set up. One of us should have said at some point, should we get a t-shirt? Just one of us have a t-shirt on.
It's not even got a pillow in the background. Look, normally you, Tom, with a pillow.
There we go.
It is.
My salmon back here. With the nice salmon. There we go. We put him just there. Lovely job. Right. Should we get into the first? I say topic. It's not. We don't really do topics anymore. But I want to talk about what happened last night. Because
what happened last night? Okay.
So I'm coming back with my girlfriend, and we're.
Are you in a car or a truck?
In a car, yeah.
Right.
Okay. I went to go and see my kids, and so I'm coming back down, and there's a hitchhiker in the services, and so I've picked up a hitchhiker before, but it was like. So it was in Scotland, and it was a lad who's in all his workwear, and you could tell he was just finishing work, and he was wanting to go back to the next town over or something like that.
Right.
I thought that's fine.
Okay.
But this was a proper hitchhiker. Like, I mean,
no, he does that for living, isn't like he just big use backpack.
Out? Yeah, the thumbs up.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's an occupation. I don't think you put on your CV hitchhiker. I just mean
it's one way to get work.
I'm trying to put this in a way that doesn't sound like prejudice in a way, but he just looked like he was a hitchhiker.
So he had a big backpack. Yeah?
Big backpack,
big
yeah,
raincoat,
kind of like, yeah, and
he's dressed for outdoorsy.
Exactly, yeah,
very
like proper
wearing a lot of brown. They always wear brown. It's just like
yeah,
you know what I mean, like a light shade of brown.
He was a fisherman as well. Like he was
Did he have his rods? Did he have all his rods?
No, he was like
I mean, that's a lot for a hitchhicher, isn't it? You know, try and low down. At least
give me a second.
Stuff.
I've got all my fishing rods. Have you got a roof rack, mate? No, I don't.
I mean, that's a very specific car that's got to pick you up there.
Okay. No, so he was. I'll be honest, mate. It was just like what you'd expect out of a hitchhiker, and I've always kind of wanted to pick one up, and I just thought, but think about it, right, Chloe? How many hitchhikers have you seen since the pandemic?
I've seen quite a few.
Oh wow, this is not going to go well for me.
I saw one yesterday.
Well, they're not as many as you used to, but they're always sat like on the M5 entrance, going up that way. So I'm like,
right. I'll just ask that while I'm answering this. I'll just ask the comments and just say, ask all of you guys. Have you seen, since the pandemic, more or less hitchhikers? I am curious to see if you guys have actually seen more out there or less. Or I've seen a lot less. This is one of only two that I've actually seen, and one of them I was fucking flying past. And yeah, but anyways, I picked him up, and when I got him, because of that, and I know, It's really bad. I feel a bit bad for thinking this, but you know that Jeffrey Dahmer thing.
Oh,
I was just
no.
like,
Okay.
well, he was sat in the
Yes.
back seat, wasn't he? And
Right.
even though I didn't think about it when I was picking him up, when he was in the back seat, I did start having a little bit. And he was a lovely guy. He was so nice. He was
Instant regret.
obsessed with lemongrass. It was like lemongrass.
Interesting.
He liked lemongrass.
Oh, is that a
with,
drink or something?
Well,
No,
it's
it's the-
no,
it's the
no, it
veg,
was.
isn't
It was.
it?
Well, it was. It
Oh,
was
was it?
herbal teas. It was like lemongrass,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
right.
lemongrass and
Lemongrass, like a
ginseng and all
mini
sorts. He was
thing,
into that
isn't
kind of thing. He was a lovely guy, but I was very consciously aware that he was behind me, and I kind of had to adjust the mirror just a little bit, just
Oh Jesus! And he knew exactly what you were doing too. Yeah, as in like,
well,
yeah, dude, I can
Caught
see
the
you. too.
eyes, going, I know what you were
There we
doing.
Well, I don't know. Is that really bad? Well, I mean, so
Well,
have
I mean,
you guys
you've got
ever
to have a
picked up a hitchhiker?
conscience on what you're doing. I've not. No. Not
Well,
something
so-
I would do.
I will say, so at the end of it, there was this moment. So he said he was going down to London, and I was going to drop him off at Charlotte Richards, but he said he wants to get to Knutsford because from there he can go on down. That's like basically we can go past our junction and I can take him down a little bit. So I thought I'll do the guy a bit of a favour. I'll let him go, and I'm trying to do the nice thing, but I don't know. It was when we got there because he said he hadn't eaten because there was a whole backstory. Basically, someone had nicked his passport, and he was
Oh,
trying.
wow.
Yeah, he'd been up to Stranraer.
Was that via
and-
hitchhiking?
Well, yeah, because basically he'd been up to Stranraer. They denied him entrance because he's Irish, and he was trying to get back over to Ireland, but they denied him entrance because he didn't have a photo ID. So he had to go to London to go and pick the bloody thing up. So he was having to go down there, but he had no money.
No.
He was in a bad situation. Like, I feel bad for the guy.
Or he was in a very
Yeah.
convincingly bad situation.
Well,
I mean, it's quite plausible.
if I'm honest with you, throughout the entire
He
thing,
probably has a lot of time waiting and able to come up with a good story.
Throughout the entire thing, he did keep hinting and saying how little money he has. So we bought him a sandwich and a drink and stuff like that. And then I said, well, what we'll do is we'll go and get you something. He goes, oh no, I'm not going in because I don't want to look like a homeless person, this and that and the other. I'm like, and then my girlfriend looks at me and she goes, oh, I'll go in. And I'm like, well, now you've left me here alone with the fucking guy. Now I'm definitely getting murdered, aren't I? I mean, that's exactly what's going to happen. He didn't want to get out, and I was just like, there was a point where I was feeling very, and I was
How
sat
long
chatting
did
with
this
the
go
guy.
on for?
Oh, far too long. I don't know. I had to kind of sit when my body turned, and I did have my hand. I had my hand by the door handle, just in. It sounds horrible, but when he
Why
didn't want
did
to
you
get
pick him
out-
up in the first
Well,
place?
because I wanted an experience.
Seriously.
Listen, I don't know what I
You
wanted an
wanted
experience.
an experience.
What was the conversation between you and your girlfriend before you picked him up? I'm like, dare me to pick him up? Like, what?
eh.
Like,
See, that's your
seriously?
husband.
Honestly,
You don't think I will? I totally will.
it wasn't far off that. Yeah.
I can imagine it was a prove your own point.
Right.
Okay, for your question, basically, I haven't seen any more only because of I haven't been driving. Like, I stopped driving full time during the pandemic, so
Right.
I kind of can't really tell. Like, I did see 2 yesterday. All right,
you really?
One guy, yeah, I know I did. Yeah, I know. I only drove.
When you know,
like, I just came back. I had.
Illegal, though.
I believe it is illegal. It does. There's lots of signs saying hitchhiking is illegal. I haven't seen them in a long time, but I do. But it's
I mean,
just
what
one of
do they
those ones that.
Because there might be a grey area.
Being on the freeway,
Someone with a
being on the
thumb out,
freeway,
I
what you're talking about.
suspect.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
know
but
what?
it depends
Honestly,
when you pick
there
them
is
up, doesn't it?
there is a lot less. There is a lot of the times there would be somebody with a sign saying, Eugene or LA or whatever, or just anywhere. Just
Just
a
to
lot of
go
times you don't
somewhere, yeah.
expect, and you get a lot of them at truck stops as well. And you're like, hey, you heading this way? You're heading this way. I'm like, no, yeah. Actually, again, I can't say if I've seen more or less. All I can say is that I remember seeing a lot more. I remember.
Yeah.
I do remember a lot. Where they
Right.
definitely hang out at a truck stop because trucks drive a lot more, and our company would not allow us to pick up anybody that didn't have register. Like you'd even need your social security number if you wanted to be a passenger in one of our trucks. So you could never have anybody. And I never did. I always had I had my girlfriend once, and it was boring as hell for her, so she did it once, and, that was it. But I can understand it can be very boring. But like, if I pick somebody up, is he expecting to kind of go back into my bed and take a nap if he's tired? What are the expectations of a hitchhiker?
Oh yeah,
you know
that's
what
a
I
bit
mean?
weird, isn't
Like,
it?
I'd want to feed him and like, hey, grab some food out of the fridge, throw it in the microwave. I'd be absolutely fine with that.
In your truck as well. That's almost like letting him into your house, isn't it? Because that's your living
very
space.
much
Yeah.
so. Yeah,
That's
very
the
much.
thing,
Yeah,
isn't it?
The lad in Scotland, I made him take his boots off.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, it's my house. You fucking take your shoes off.
What if he had stinky
I
feet?
should be sparing, should I? Right.
Have you guys? Tom? Have you ever hitchhiked?
No, I've never hitchhiked. But very quickly, I just want to go to the
Yeah.
comments and just answer. So
Okay.
Timo's saying that he's never seen a single hitchhike. Well, he's not seen I say never. I added the word never. I would assume he has seen a hitchhiker at some point during his life, but I would, from context, assume that we're talking about since this pandemic. He's saying that. We've got Neil Thomas saying, always you see them on the motorway, slips with tray plates. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. You don't see them anymore, do you not? Do you know the one with the red plates?
Oh, what? As if they've come down, taken a car, and now they want to get
Yeah,
back.
exactly.
Yeah, I've seen those ones,
I've seen one.
Excuse
I think
me?
of them.
What is that?
Right. So in the UK, there's a license plate. It's got, is it red writing on it? I think it is.
It's
Something
red
like that.
writing with a white background.
And
It's
so
got a red
basically,
trim.
that's someone who's authorized to just drive any car from one place to another. So if you buy a car from a dealership in Glasgow, say, and it needs to come down to the dealership that you've purchased it from, they'll send one of these guys up. They'll bring it down to you, and
under
then
train plates. Yeah.
they'll somehow disappear and go and get another one. I don't really know how. Yeah,
they have to move on then to whatever they're doing,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
they swap cars or something, don't they? Or like you say, some of them end up hitchhiking because why not?
Exactly. Well,
Yes.
basically, Neil's saying that he hasn't seen any since COVID, basically. We've got,
which is what you said.
I've got my girlfriend Kaylee, who is on the chat, who is trying to claim that, and I quote, "It's called self-preservation, Tom. Had to save myself," and then says that she loves me, but really, I don't feel like
Love
that.
it.
I feel like that I was abandoned in that situation, and I feel like. Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame her. I'm not gonna lie.
Can we say a quick hello to everyone who's saying hello to?
That's,
You know what I
that's
mean?
right. Oh yeah, hello to
So
everyone.
Timo, sorry, Dave, Blackhawk, so okay, cool, and Nathan J. Hello to those guys who are on our chat.
I even skipped dude. Look, Daryl's here.
Oh,
Let's
we
skip
got
that.
all the people in.
We got
All the
everyone.
people.
Oh,
Lovely.
Skip, dude! I stopped reading after Skip, and I just figured it was you in your own feed.
Oh, I see.
Because Chloe has her own YouTube
Wait,
channel.
so you thought that she was
I was
saying
just going,
hi to
"Evening."
herself on a live stream?
I thought you were saying hi to everybody else on
Oh,
the
I
live
could
stream.
do.
Oh, that,
I know.
that does sound a lot better, actually. Yeah, that does sound a lot better.
So
Sure.
I have.
Okay. Now, there we go. So Tom, you have never had hitchhiked.
No, I've never hitchhiked. No, I don't. My anxiety would be too high on it. Have you?
It used to be one of my main forms of transportation.
Really?
So what would you say
What?
to them?
What? To be not, well, okay. So I live in a town called Bandon. All right, it's in Cork. It's in County Cork, and sometimes I'd be hitchhiking or I'd be tumming up to Cork. But there'd be a ton of people. Like in the morning, it could be one or two people, but in the evening, coming back to Bandon, there would be around 20 people with their thumb sticking out. And basically,
Wow.
you're kind of you're, and it's like, who do you choose?
What? So
But
you
lots
like
of
literally just stand in a little group with all your thumbs out?
Well,
Like a
you
bus
try,
stop?
yeah, but a little spread out. And so you drive past and you see if you know anybody, and once you know somebody, you point at them. Hey, I know you. Hop in. You know what I mean? Then you have a little bit of a conversation.
Have you not got to like have a little competition? You know, if you got 20 of you, you've got to outstand the crowd, surely. You know, get a bigger.
I mean, let's
bigger
just for a
poster
second
or-
acknowledge how green this is. Like, this is very. I mean, but I will say, this sounds like. So I was watching one of the. No, I was listening to a podcast on one of these serial killers, and
Oh my god.
Well, this is why. It's because this is the reason I was worried about this guy last night. But I was listening to a podcast about this, and the way they were saying it is it was like, as you were describing there, like there'd be 20 people sat waiting and watching and looking at, which is crazy to me. It's wild. I don't know. It's absolutely. It baffles me. It baffles me.
I had no problem. And this is before I started driving. This was when I was like, I don't know, from like 15 to 17. And I'm a kid a lot of the time, you know.
That's
just
quite young then, yeah.
If I missed, well, back in the day when you were, that was back in 1995. I was born in 1980, so I'm 15 or whatever, right? And I know we had no fear. One time, it's just, why not? Is the thing, you know, like it just made sense, you know. You just go, if a lot of times too, like let's say one time I was, you know, like I'll be tumbling to the beach.
Yeah.
Do you say tumbling over there? Okay,
no,
you say it
no, it's not.
I would suspect there is a term thumbing. Probably not using this context, I would suspect, but again,
not.
as it's a live stream, we can't bleep anything.
we always call it tumming. Well, of course, we say tumming. With a lot of the Irish, we don't pronounce our THs, so thumbing. Yeah. Okay, but anyway, but sometimes I'd always walk, and then sometimes you'd end up walking like 5 miles before you get picked up, you know, because I don't know why can't you? There's like no difference between staying in one place and then getting it. But one time, I think I was going to Kerry. I was going to meet some buddies. We were hanging out, and they wanted me, and that's. I don't even know what the distance is. Like maybe 90 miles, maybe 80 miles. I have no idea. It felt like 600 miles when I was that young. But I was hitchhiking at a good place. First of all, I hitchhiked to a certain spot, and then I hitchhiked and then I just waited. I didn't start walking because there's no point of walking. This is a good intersection.
So
it's nice and wide.
Yeah.
It was nice and wide, and then eventually someone pulled up, and he just like pretty much, get in, quick, go. And like, because he just overtook a couple of trucks or some tractors, and he didn't want them to go in. All right, so it was a priest, and so this priest was nice enough, and like, so where are you heading? I'm heading to Tralee in Kerry, and so like, if you don't mind stopping off at my brother-in-law's place, and we can have a cup of tea and a sandwich, you know, like, sure. Okay, so you know, I can't remember exactly. Was it brother-in-law? Was it a friend or whatever? Or family? It was very strange. And like, this priest was very flamboyant too. It was very funny. But I can't remember exactly where he took me. But he did take me a little bit closer to where I wanted to go. I think I didn't ended up hitchhiking again. I think we got the bus back. I think back then too. If I had $5, I wasn't going to spend that on the bus. You know what I mean? As in like,
if you're used to hitchhiking, I get it.
You know what I mean? As in like, I didn't like asking money.
When you say $5, was this when Ireland was using the dollar? I think was it 1980?
I was wondering would just say that. £5. All right. You know, I would hold on to my money as long as possible. Again, I didn't know when the next time I was going to have money. You know what I mean? It was just more of like, hey, let's not waste it on this when I could, buy a couple of drinks later on instead. You know.
Rizzo.
There was one time I picked up okay, first of all, I had this job. All right, so I had when I turned 18, a few months, it was just a summer job. My dad got me a job with a dealership, a car dealership, and my job was washing cars and waxing them, and also taking parts from one dealership to the other. And so one was in my town, one dealership was in my town, the other was in the city, which is like 25 miles away. So a lot of time too, I'd be swapping cars back and forth. So I was driving like new cars, which is like for an 18-year-old. Oh my God, I was so excited. Cool. You know what I mean? As in, like, it was like the job of all jobs. I couldn't, like, it was my favorite at the time. So I got to drive so many different cars. But one time I was driving a Land Rover or a Range Rover or something, big, nice, big one. You know what I mean? And I see these two girls. And so I pull over. Well, they're hitchhiking. You know, they have a sign saying they're going.
Right.
No, this is not what you think, and don't you try predict what I'm going to say. Okay.
Go on.
You know what I mean?
Go on.
Whatever
See what happens. Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, they say they're going to Macroom. I'm like, hey, cool. Okay. And then so I'm just saying I can take you halfway there. And then after I dropped them off, I was like, wait a second, this isn't the way to Macroom. This is actually further. I've kind of like didn't help them at all.
Just take them out their way.
I put him in a different town where it's a little closer. I should have actually no. You need to be on the Macroom Road over here. You know what I mean? Because we didn't have maps. Or they did. I was just more like, fuck. If I was going to Macroom, I would go this way. I forget there's an actual direct route.
So you're
on the
trying
other
to
side
tell
of the
us
city.
you've picked 2 girls up and just dropped them off in a random location. Here you go. Have fun. Bye. And then slide off into the distance.
I was so embarrassed. I didn't. I was like, oh fuck.
And there you were in your
Alright.
fancy Land Rovers.
I know, right?
That's amazing.
They did compliment my Land Rover, and I was like, it's not mine. It belongs to the dealership. This is just my job. I drive back and forth or whatever. But
I will say, so
Yeah.
Black Hawk, he seems to have found. Well, I think he's found a serial killer. So he said that he saw a hitchhiker the other day at Corliss Services, and he was approaching the trucks that were fueling up. He was heading south, but he was in the northbound services.
That's a bit weird.
That's definitely a serial killer. Someone who picked him up has definitely been murdered. So there we go. That's it's a bit of a red flag, isn't it? Really. Let's be honest. If you're in the, I'm going here. You're not from us for this fucking assignment.
Definitely not with me, you're not.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Shall we move on to something else, or what have you got, Chloe? Are you just on your phone?
I was
shits and giggles.
just giggles. No, I was looking at comments. But I don't want to attempt names because I'm going to butcher them. So I'm quite happy. With
no, that's the funniest thing about
No. You definitely need to attempt names.
Yes,
we
need names. We can have an entire segment on just you.
I just wasn't. I wasn't entertaining myself to do it. I was just holding back, because if an awkward one comes up, then I'm screwed. I'm not doing it.
Okay. No, you will.
Are you going to read it to us?
I can read this one. I've not even got that far. Miller the Viking Trucker Conquest.
Wait.
It was allowed in the work truck. I'd pick up hitchhikers. There you go. Comment.
Yeah, a lot of people
most
aren't,
companies
are they?
are not allowed hitchhikers in their truck. Yeah, it's understandable.
So some of them say they're not insured for it. But
a lot of them aren't insured, are they?
Well, so they are technically a lot of them are insured, but the company policy is that you don't. Because the reason why technically you're allowed to pick up. Well, it's so
if
say
you have
for
a
instance.
crash, though, they can fine against you, whatever, can't they? They've got a claim against you. So
I think our company policy might be that we can't pick up hitchhikers, but at the same time that if a family member wants to come out with you for a bit of an experience. They can. You are insured for that, and then so it's kind of like it's a more. I think for a lot of it, it's more of a company policy than it is. But a lot of people say it's insurance. Obviously, stuff like Stob Arts, like Kalina Group, stuff like that. Yeah, obviously they're going to lock that down because they'll have it there. They'll have a stipulation that the only people in that truck is a trainer that's allowed as a passenger as such, or
another co-worker.
Another driver. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think some of them don't even allow that because otherwise you can it's a distraction in a cab and it's all a bit. I think for some of them, yeah.
Skip dude picked up a hitchhiker the other day.
Well, I've seen that, but he didn't expand on the story, and I was like,
so
this
thank
is
you,
great.
Daryl. That's
I
don't know how we're supposed to do that. Okay.
He did. I know he picked someone. I'm sure it was in the rain, and he felt sorry for him. So he could just, and he went 20 minutes out of his way to take him to where this guy wanted because he was pissing it down.
Oh, that's nice. Bless him. Oh, that's quite sweet.
Yeah,
that's very sweet.
Did do a good deed there.
So I once I was in Morecambe, and there was this homeless guy with this dog, and I walked past him, and I don't know, there was something about it sounds really bad. It wasn't necessarily the guy, it was the dog that made me feel really sad. And it was just, the dog looks so sad.
For the dogs, though.
Well, it looks so sad. And so I got him a Subway, but what I did was I said to Subway, can I buy 2? He'll get one now, and then when he's hungry later, he can just come and get it so we can have a fresh one, nice and heated.
Quite nice.
And so, they let me do that. And, But I also got bits for the dog as well, because their dog would look really nice. David, I want to hear a story about you breaking a truck.
All right, that's a long time ago.
Still, I want to hear a good one.
Jesus, I think this might have been like 3 months. Yeah, it's not that. if I have to say, the biggest damage that I've ever done to a truck was I destroyed a transmission. I couldn't get it. I couldn't get it into gear. I was
So what, did you
grinding.
ram it
left-
in? Gearbox is gone.
Yeah, I wouldn't say. Would I ram it in? Yeah, I try again. I was panicking. I was fed up, and it was. I don't know. I was like, I think I don't even know how many months I was into the job for like 3 months or whatever. I'm still grinding here and there, but if you're going up a hill and then down a hill, and
So,
there's different.
But just quickly, what sort of gearbox was this?
Yeah, 'cause
a
you,
manual transmission.
Yeah, but
In
I mean, like, what?
America.
I mean, they have manual gearboxes.
no,
in
I
America.
know, but you've got like completely different things. You got like double.
It was a 10-speed.
clutch and all sorts.
Are you
haven't
asking?
Oh,
Yeah,
10 speed. So what is it? Is it like, because I've used a 4/4 with splits. What's that? Is it 12?
Yeah.
12?
That's a
Yeah,
13.
12
No.
speeds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
13
yeah,
it's
13
it's a
was
well, okay,
reversed.
was it
Well,
a red knob or a grey knob?
excuse me. Well,
The little knob on the
hey,
on
we'll
the
have none
side.
of that talk
the
on this
split.
podcast.
Yeah, we will. Jesus, we will. Do you remember if it was a red little knob for splitting, or was it a grey one? Because if it was a red, it's a 13 speed. If it was a grey, it was an 18 speed.
They were both black.
It was.
Then that's
it was
ruined
then
your theory.
probably grey. No, it was probably grey.
Because basically, so the high and low was behind the gear stick.
Yeah.
So you flicked it up for high, down for low, and then there was a splitter on the where your
Left
thumb
side.
is on
Yeah.
on your right side. Well, because I'm holding it with my left hand, aren't
Oh
I?
yeah.
So yeah, be
Right.
left for you,
Gotcha.
right for me. If that no way,
Yeah.
no way. So my
No, you're right. You're right.
I'm sure you're right. Just go
It doesn't
with
matter
it.
where
Right
your
side, yeah.
where your
Okay.
where your thumb is.
Yeah.
Where your
But-
thumb is. Yeah.
so
Okay.
it was a 12 speed, but technically a 14 because it had 2 reverse gears, wasn't it? 'Cause it'll have
Yeah.
high and low
Yeah. When
or
you
splits.
start getting technical like that, yeah.
I've only ever done
So
4/4
this was
or
a 10
knockover.
speed, and was it
this
was
this
it
was a
just high
10
and
speed
low?
back in the day. It was just high and low. Yeah.
Okay,
Right,
Just
okay.
high and low.
All right,
just
go on.
well, that way I know kind of what we're doing. Was it the fact that you were going into low range? Because I did that quite a long time where I would forget. I'd try and set off and I'm still in high, or I have done it where I tried to flick
What,
it
and you
into
jump
low
down
range.
too much? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I've
I've
done
done that.
I was taken off from an intersection, and it was downhill. So if you're shifting going downhill on the lower gears, all right, you have to shift pretty quickly because you're gaining speed because of gravity. And I wasn't catching it enough. And every time I would screw up and I wouldn't get into gear, would grind, and then I'm gaining more speed because of gravity. And then I like, here I am, I'm trying to get into third gear and then fourth gear. Well, realistically, it probably should have been in fifth and sixth gear.
Yeah.
And but I had my clutch all the way down, which you're never supposed to do. And
Oh.
there's just, you know what I mean? Like, that's another thing. But I just kept grinding, and then I just kept, and all of a sudden, clunk clunk.
Oh.
It was, and I ended up, I got it into a gear, but it was like a glug 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 glug. And now I just pull
Oh,
over to the
no.
side of the road. I'm like, so I had to call breakdown, and basically I broke the transmission.
So was it on the way
Uh,
out, or was it just literally your poor driving that broke it?
Was my port? Was it a way
Well,
out?
you
No,
said it was
I don't know. It
grinding
might have been.
already. Was it grinding because it was
No,
already
no. It
fudged,
only grinds.
or-
Sorry, when I say it's grinding already, it's grinding because I didn't really know how to shift very well.
So you
on
literally
every-
broke
on-
it.
Yeah. Yeah. It probably was me.
So
And it was
I-
like thousands of dollars to fix it. You know what I mean? I felt bad, but it just I couldn't work for weeks because there was no truck available for weeks, which kind of really pissed me off.
Oh
you know, like,
wow, yeah, that
you
really
know,
screwed it.
like I had to get towed by a big wrecker, and so he's towing me and the trailer, and we had to. The sucky thing is we had to go through a scale house. So we're pulling through the scale house, and
What's a
he
scale
gets
house?
a weigh station.
Weighbridge.
It's just
yeah.
like it's just a fancy weighbridge, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or is it-
scale house. Yeah, it's well. I shouldn't have said scale house, but a DOT weigh scale.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, and of course he didn't have the right paperwork, so we were sitting there for like 5 hours and waiting for his boss to get some proper paperwork because like I don't know, it was a sucky day. So I broke my equipment because I didn't know how to shift properly, and yeah, that's the biggest thing, the worst thing I've done, I believe, when it comes to me breaking equipment because of I just couldn't get it into bloody gear.
So I've
good
got
going.
I've got ones very similar to this. But just before I do say it, I'm interested to know if you are a driver, what's the most expensive thing you've ever broken on a truck in the comments as we're going through this.
This is not
Yeah.
crashing, correct?
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is not
So
getting
this
into an
is
accident.
this is
just-
a break. So mine, I've broke a gearbox as well. It was my 12 speed. Well, okay. So this is the thing. Like as Chloe was saying there, did I actually break it? I don't know. I will say I was doing exactly what David was doing because it was my first 12 speed. I was grinding the shit out of it, but by the time that it broke, I was smooth as butter with it. So I don't know, had I already broken it, or was it on its way out, or something like that. The owner seemed to think it was probably on its way out already, and annoyingly, it was not my last day, but the second to last day that I broke this bloody truck.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've left this company with on my permanent record is the breakage of this bloody truck. But and again, so I was in Scotland, and the first thing that I noticed with it was I split it down into essentially 11th, and it didn't go because on the dashboard you can see if it's in the low, if it's locked into the low, and if it's into the high, and it wasn't saying that. And so I called up the owner, and I was like, "This isn't going down to a gear." And he said, "Just keep an eye on it, just see if it works and this and that." So not a problem at all. Then I got to a traffic light, and it was not going into lower range. I could put it into
Sixth gear.
Sixth gear, is it? Yeah. I could put it into sixth, and I had to basically slip the clutch to try and fucking get it off the ground, which isn't great. And I managed to get it kind of going a little bit, and then I managed to eventually get it into low, but then it wouldn't go back up into high. So I managed to kind of limp it.
That sounds like an
somewhere
air
safe.
problem.
Well,
Like-
what he said, the bearings had gone on it, and the bearings just exploded inside it or something. So,
Oh wow.
yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes it takes a certain amount of air pressure because everything works on air. That little switch, that little flip selector,
Yeah.
like it won't. If there's not a good amount of air, it won't actually work. But yeah.
I don't think I've ever done anything that bad. I've not
Have you
broken a
not?
gearbox. No, I used to have a Merc that had a 4 next to a 4, so you had to use to knock it over, which was bloody awkward. And you used
Wait,
to
say
full
that
on
again.
slam it. So it was a
4
4 next to 4, like on the gearbox.
Wait,
you'd
so how does that work?
So when I first got into it, I thought it was just like you use it as like 8 gears and you just knock through them all. No, that kept fucking me up. You literally had to smack it over. So it was like your low range and high range switch, but just knocking it over.
But perceived and how it works, or
How
how
it
it
looked like it
looks,
worked.
it looks like an 8-speed.
Yeah, it just looks like you just knock it over and you've got 8
But when you get
gears.
into 4th, you then have
But
to.
when you get to 4th, you try and pick it over and you go, oh no, I'm stuck. And when I first was learning, and I'm like, I'm trying to get up this hill, I'm like, trying to
So-
slam it into gears. But it
So is
turned
it a
out-
bit like some reverse gears where you've got to kind of be a little bit forceful to get it into reverse?
you got to like put your clutch in
That's
and
weird.
yeah. Honestly, for the first 3 months of driving it, my arm, I like ended up with like the most strongest arm in the world. It was that bad. I was in pain for the first 3 months on my arm and my shoulders. It was that bad. Once I got used to it, it was fine. But then there was like other little twitchy things, like you'd be going down a hill and obviously you knock it down a few gears, and it didn't 7. It used to jump out of gear 7. It used to jump out of gear 5. So
So
you'd
was
be
it
like-
definitely a Merc? So Neil
It
Thomas
was
is
a
saying,
Merc, Axor, I think it was.
yeah,
Axle.
I can't remember what the
It was
the
an
rigid
11
version
plate
is.
Axor, so
So,
yeah, it
so
was
Neil Thomas is saying 4/4 knock across. Apparently, that's the
oh,
official
is that
name
what
for
it's
it all.
actually called? Oh, they had,
A
had it in
knock
a
across.
Deveco. A knock,
Yeah, yeah.
a knock across.
All right,
That
so
was-
we have comments to read.
We do, yeah. So Timo saying, not my fault really. One second, let me put the microphone into better position. Not my fault really, but I was on the way back from Swindon in our recovery truck, and the rear diff just exploded,
Ooh.
as sometimes they do, because you never know. Locked up the axles. Oh my word. Locked up the axles solid, and safe to say, I need a new. Fuck me.
Wow, that
would
sounds
be-
terrifying.
that
Can
would
you
be-
read it, please?
No.
Did
Well,
you
I
read
read
it properly?
it.
Wait, no. Which one are you looking at? Timo or Miller?
This is Timo here.
Solid and
Basically-
safe.
Oh, sorry,
lane,
So
sorry,
what I'm
sorry.
essentially, I'm guessing it must be like aquaplaning it, because it's just you've just got no
Wow,
control
that would
over it,
be
isn't it?
terrifying.
Oh yeah, that's not great. Neil Thomas says tailboard on a 1-month-old Wilcox tipping trailer, £4,000 to replace.
Ooh.
I've also done a headboard. I slammed on.
Well, that's the front of the
front of the trailer.
of
Yeah.
the trailer.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All
And a
on a
flatbed.
Wilcox. That's that. Like, how the hell? That's impressive on a tipper.
Well, are we calling those? Are we calling those accidents? Or you know what I mean? Because my list can go on for quite a long time. When it comes to the stuff that I broke.
Broke the trainee, which broke a brand new truck 30 minutes into his first shift. Wait, he broke them. So what did he?
He picked them up and broke the trainee in half.
What? You broke the trainee? What? I have so many questions right now. Bear in mind we have just lost Chloe. I
wonder where
I
she
can still hear me. I just my camera's just
Okay.
decided to have a glitch.
Oh, that's
Okay.
fine. We didn't want to speak to you anyway, so it's all good.
Oh, right. We can hear me.
We can hear you. Yeah. Have you got any other ones that
All
you want to
right,
read out, David?
4/4, knock across bin. How do you pronounce that truck?
It was not an Iveco. It was a Mac.
All right.
Maybe they use the same gearboxes.
Oh,
Dunno.
possibly. I don't know, but it was definitely a Mac.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Hackman
once-
broke the
on.
trainee, which broke a brand new truck 30 minutes into his first shift.
Well, we're just talking about how do you break it? Right, we need an explanation. We need to know when you say you broke the trainee. What does this mean? Did you actually break the? What? As in, like they broke it and you were just like, "Yep, you're gonna die now." That's you.
You're out. Sod.
Did we read Miller the Trucking Viking Conquest?
No,
right.
not that one.
Okay.
There.
Sorry. Okay. So broke Babber Green tarmac layer that punctured 2 tires and mudguard loads in the body went solid.
Oh no.
All right. Site shut down for 48 hours and have to load broke with
Oh,
with a big spike
Broke
on a
up with a big
360.
Oh,
Yeah,
What does that mean? Sorry,
that
broke
is
up with a big
not
spike.
good one. So it just went solid.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
that's not great.
That's
That one
literally
there.
what that is.
Our daft dust cart had its moments when it wouldn't go into reverse. The calf muscles on my leg were a bit firmer on my right leg. Yeah, they are. Yeah, it's
You
basically.
do.
with
You end
the-
up with
the
a better
clutch,
arm or a better leg, don't you?
Yeah. And Timo says that's the van which had its actual lockup, so that it snaked down the road before coming to a sudden stop. Copper constantly asked me to move out of the lane. Couldn't get it into his head that wasn't. All right, so police basically turned up and like, yeah, you need to move.
So
this. He's
basically,
like,
would that
I
be
can't.
because his he and his trailer and they just locked up? Does that happen with you guys? If we lose air in our trailer, all right, there is no. Basically, the brakes are automatically
yes,
applied.
yes,
Okay.
yeah,
'Cause
that can.
You see tire marks all over the freeways down here. That basically where that happens. It nearly happened to me one time. I was actually driving into LA, just past on the 15 heading south, and there was a pickup truck in front of me, and there was a pillow, like a throw pillow. It kind of just fell out, and I couldn't avoid it. It was like I was in the slow lane. And there was a vehicle to my left of me. I'm like, I guess I'm rolling over it. Whatever, it's just a pillow. So I hit the pillow, and I just see poof. I see foam coming all over the place from my truck. I was like, "Ooh, that was kind of fun." Some guys in the CB were like, "Whoa, what was that, guys?" And this is so yeah, I just don't know. Whatever, it just destroyed the pillow, and I wasn't thinking anything of it. But then I heard a like, what the hell is going on here?
No.
So I'm looking at my gauge, and I'm seeing my air drop. And I'm like, holy crap! So I immediately pulled over to the side of the road. Now this happened to just be a huge area, basically like a lay-by.
Yeah.
But so it'd be just huge. You could have fit 20 trucks there. And as soon as I stopped, I applied the brake to stop, and then poof. You know what I mean? Because I was on gravel, so then the trailer just came to a stop, and I'm just skidding to a stop. It was very slow. The fabric of the pillow wrapped around my drive shaft, which wrapped around my airlines, and actually snapped my red airline. Underneath the cab, basically. This is not the part where I actually connect to the trailer.
Yeah, but it basically
underneath.
just you lost all air.
Yeah, but I was still a little bit. Actually, I do believe I was still a little bit on the road. just a little bit, just on the tarmac part, but I wanted to get completely off. So I got some duct tape. I went underneath the truck and I wrapped it around as much as I could, and it actually I was able to move the trailer a little bit into a safer area, which was like, hey, duct tape. Always have duct tape, because that'll.
It's that and
it's a lifesaver.
that and zip ties.
Oh my
God!
god!
Two things
zip
you
ties.
always have to have as a truck driver. Zip ties are one of the most. The amount of times that it's got me out of, like, for instance, if I've had an airbag go, and you can just and you need to kind of get somewhere. You're on the motorway. You don't want to be on the motorway. Quickly zip tie it. You can go down to the services and you can have it fixed where it's actually safe to do so, or even limp it back to like a safe, like to DAF or wherever you need to be. So, yeah, that's always zip ties are so important.
They are. Yeah, I had it once. So I had a wagon drag trailer that. Well, I do have a wagon drag trailer, and I decided to take up to North Devon, and I got halfway up this hill, and my truck was basically ended up dragging the trailer because it decided to lock up, and all I just saw was this bellowing smoke behind.
Oh wow.
But yeah, when we lose our Susies, they just go solid as well. Mine did.
Comments are coming in so quick.
What?
I've just read this one.
I will not read it, and I will wait for you to read it to us. So don't butcher it like I will.
Right, so Anthony, this is the lad that was saying before about that he broke the trainee. So what he's read the fucking thing and at the end of it
Go on.
So give me a second. Right, so he says, so the trainee was giving it so-called, one second, the trainee was giving it, so I called him out and he basically broke 30 minutes of driving a manual 7.5 ton cage in London. So it basically sounds like he's got some trainee that says he's been driving HGVs for years, and he's managed to knacker this gearbox in 30 minutes. But at the end of it, he's then said, "P.S. He's still alive." So, I mean, didn't let us know what condition, but I appreciate that anyway. So.
It's just got no legs, something like that,
Can we try? Can we try get video on Chloe? Like if you start and stop.
I think if I refresh, let me just try and refresh.
All right, so she might leave and she might come back. Let's try it out anyway. I know normally this would be done on the.
So this is where an edit would happen, which we're very used to having these sort of things happen. But
hey,
you're back. Oh,
right. The real reason why people are watching on YouTube is for Chloe.
Exactly,
no
not
one wants
for me.
to see my ugly mug.
Give off, you dickhead. Right. What was I was going to say something else. I was trying to think of some of the times that I've. Oh my god.
Some of the times. Which time?
So I will say. So one of my actually that was something else I was going to say. So I've got a mate who's learning to drive in Canada.
Oh, that's
cool. And my intentions are to get him on. Because I'm fascinated, because he's having to do proper, some to do sit-down classes, and
is he someone that's immigrated over there, or is he just living?
No,
it's I do believe it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder to get a license in Canada. There's more theory, I believe.
This is one of the first topics we covered on this podcast, was about the Canadians and how much, how many hours they have to do of the classroom stuff. But the thing that I didn't know is, so in America, and again, you'll be able to confirm this, David, pretty much every truck's fitted with drum brakes. He looks really confused. That's never a good sign. He's thinking.
I'm pretty sure, David, you've confirmed that in the past. I've heard you confirm that in the past.
Let's just give him a second.
No, they're S brakes.
Okay. Well, he said
they're S cams.
S cams. What the fuck's an S cam?
It makes an S and it spreads it out and applies the brakes to the drum.
But that's a drum brake. You just said to the drum.
No, not the drum. Sorry, not the drum. The what's it called? What's the part of the brakes touch?
Caliper.
She's
brake disc.
The pad. The part of the Jesus Christ! I hate the fact that this is live. I would totally redo this. All right, take two. All right, clap, and then
bit behind the scenes there. I like it.
Oh my god, it was so long. the more years and years you drive, the less words you use in the trucks. I've forgotten what they're called half the time.
Well, so what he was saying, his instructor. Now, this could be in Canada, so it might be different from Canada to America, but basically, because we use they use drum brakes on the trailers, if I remember correctly, or they are. I'm sure they are on my tipper. I don't know if some of the new ones use proper disc brakes, but on the tractor unit they are disc brakes. But apparently the reason that they use drums is just because they're cheaper to purchase, and they are like significantly cheaper. But
they're more dangerous, aren't they?
Disc brakes.
Overheat
I don't ever recall seeing a drum brake.
Well, they overheat, which would explain why you see them in America. The
Neil Thomas S-Cams. That's a pop group.
Is it?
Well played, sir. Well, he's talking about it's S Club 7 is what I think he's talking about. That's very quick. That's very quick. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah.
I have drum brakes on my pickup on my front
really
brakes.
I didn't think that was really a thing anymore.
I didn't know. This is wild.
No,
I'm like
I think okay. I'm embarrassed right now. I just feel like all trucks and trailers in America that I've seen are all disc brakes.
But having said that, do you really ever go because you don't really ever go crawling underneath, do you?
I have many times. Because if I ever see that there could be a potential problem with my flashlight, I'm like, I don't like to look at that. You crawl underneath.
Yeah, it's true enough, yeah.
And like every time I would get a new truck, I'd do a nice proper inspection. And I would crawl as much as I can under. Like, I'm not getting you know what I mean? But
depending if it's concrete or if it's mud and gravel that's underneath.
Oh, not even getting down.
I have no problem with gravel. Like you have your clothing for all the right situations and all that. But they're disc. They're disc. That you have your what's the silver part that the disc goes up against? Why am I running a bloody blank on that?
I honestly I could not tell you.
I have no idea.
But my technical skills is the pressy bit. In the comments, please
the part of the wheel that the brake pad rubs up against. Is that what it's? No.
The caliper's the outer bit, and then it's on a brake disc. No.
Okay.
Is that the bit?
Again, I'd just like to welcome people who are just joining this. You are currently watching the UK's largest trucking podcast.
The world's largest fucking. Didn't we decide that it was the world's largest?
We are the podcast.
The best one ever.
Yeah,
amazing.
The main one, yeah. Neil Thomas says that his Staz trailer is on disc brakes. That does not surprise me in the slightest because I've never used a Staz that's not absolutely phenomenal. I've got a Wilcox. It's someone actually helping.
Disc pad. All right, pad disc.
So I was right. That's what I said.
Look how excited she is. Look how excited she is.
So many times you guys don't believe me, and then someone put in a comment after.
I believe you.
Do you Chloe was right. Chloe on that one, and you never know. You never see it. You don't care. So now we get the proof right in front of you. I get confirmation I am correct.
Oh, bloody hell. Shall we stop talking about brakes and get on to our...
What were we talking about? We weren't talking about brakes. We were talking about something else.
About
braking the trucks.
What were you on about?
That's right.
We're talking about Canada.
Oh, yeah, you were talking about Canada.
But then you stopped.
Yeah, you did stop. I'm sure people were curious.
Started talking.
No, we don't. Yeah, we keep the Canada thing going.
Okay. We're keeping Canada
going.
going.
With that?
Well, it was part of the conversation. We just kind of really veered off there.
We'll have to... We'll have to veer back around to that one there.
Well, you were saying that in Canada that all trailers all trucks and trailers all have drum brakes.
Primarily drum brakes is what I was told by my friend who's currently doing his... what's the Canadian CDL? I can't remember what it's called now.
I don't know.
Actually,
don't know. Anybody on the well, maybe somebody else can look it up in Google and then tell us.
Yeah, someone Google.
That way that's the way we don't do it. Yeah, everybody who is in the chat right now is our producer. All right, so there we go.
So Timo says a fair amount of cars/vans still have drum brakes on the rear axles. So
was it a rear axle was on? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because your main brakes, like 70% of your braking power is actually from your front axle in a car, and then. Yeah, and because it was in my pickup had drum brakes, and they never had to get changed because they never really get used that much. And and a lot of my friends who were mechanics, like, nope, I'm not doing that. That's a son of a bitch.
Well,
You know,
apparently,
I'll
they're
do
an
you.
absolute nightmare to repair.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
you know,
really?
I've changed my own disc brakes, which I got taught, and it was like, hey, now I can do that. Cool.
Wait.
I feel like you earn a little bit of a man card when you're able to change your own brakes, but you deserve some kind of a crazy card if you change your own drum brakes.
I'll
But
be honest,
anyway.
yeah, I'm not even sure I can change that. I don't know if I should say this. I don't even have to
can't
change
change
the
your own
oil
tire.
properly. I know,
You
I
don't
could
have
probably
to
change
change
the
your
tire
oil.
maybe.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you didn't say. Okay,
No, I could
Yeah.
probably change the tire in a pinch. I've never done it before, but I understand the principles.
you don't
behind
want
it.
to change your own oil. There's no seriously. It is such a
Get it
headache.
serviced.
Yeah, it is just as
Yeah.
cheap. Just
Do your oil
sometimes
filter,
it can be
things
just
like
as cheap
that. Yeah.
to get it serviced. One of
Yeah.
those. Do you have your those drive-through? I wouldn't say drive-through, but in England, we have like Jiffy Lube and
Give what?
other companies
sorry?
out there, right?
Excuse me.
They're very
What?
quick. You don't have to make an appointment. You just show up. They're like boom, 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 done, done, done. 15 minutes, you're out.
Jiffy Lube.
Jiffy Lube.
Yeah.
Quick.
That doesn't sound like
Where
a
have
car
you
You've
thing
never
to
heard-
me.
David?
You've never heard of
No.
Jiffy Lube?
No, that sounds
Oh.
that sounds like you've been to a sex shop to me.
It does.
You know what? Honest to God, when I heard lube, when I came to America, I see lube all the time on these things. I'm like, what the hell? You know what I mean? As like seriously, like as a European here, seeing the word lube constantly.
It's funny.
It is funny. It is. You know what? You know what's funny as well? It's the fact that we use the word drugs for our pharmacies or for our chemists or whatever, right? So there's like I saw this huge flashing sign saying drugs this way. You know.
Where?
Honest to God. One of my favorite signs was there was two businesses. It says Long's Drugs, and then there was another company called Great Party. It was right underneath it. So it was Long's Drugs, Great Party. It was just for me. I thought that was like one of
Wow.
those times I should just send it into the
That's
internet for
amazing.
but anyway.
That's great.
So
That's
good.
genuinely great.
But no, Jiffy Lube basically is a huge chain. They're every 5 miles. I feel like they're
It's just
they're
like an
more
oil.
popular.
Or
Yeah. Basically, they'll change
a
your oil.
lubricant.
They'll check your car to make sure it's actually in good condition. They'll basically do a pre-trip on it. They'll fill up with coolant. They'll change your radiator filter.
Oh, cool.
They just do it. Well, they do all the stuff all the minor stuff. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They're not gonna like rebuild your transmission or any of that kind of stuff or put new tires on. They will rotate your tires, but they won't put new tires on. Or maybe sometimes they will.
What do you mean
Depending
rotate
on
the
it.
tires?
Excuse me.
But that's
What does
Yeah.
rotate your tires means?
Well, yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
that's what tires do. They rotate. That's
Well, you put the front to the back and the back to the front. Because they
Oh, okay. Even tread.
there you go.
I got ya. I know
Okay.
what you're on about.
All right. Sorry. Okay.
What
They
the fuck are you
okay.
two
Let
talking
me
about?
let me rephrase it. Oh, I was going to say reverse. Okay. They swap the front tires and put the back tires on them, and it's just basically because they
The front's go on the back and the back go on the
Yeah.
front. So
Yeah,
they
like I
evenly
said.
wear. Yeah.
they evenly wear because
Yeah.
if yeah.
Yeah.
Will you
It's
stop
when you've
looking
got-
like that?
Tom, have you never had your car balanced, your tires balanced or anything when you get the uneven tread? You must have had balancing and stuff.
All right.
You
We
haven't
have so
checked
many
your
comments.
tires?
What are we talking about right now?
Have you never checked your tires?
We are swapping the tires in the
Yeah.
back and putting them on the front, and then the front will go
I
on the
don't
back.
think thing we do though, but I think maybe that's
Okay.
more of an American thing they do.
Yeah, it happens.
but-
Yeah, it happens all the time.
do you know
Never
what you
heard of
mean?
this.
Yeah.
I wonder, is that because there's like so few corners, and because obviously in the when you're going into corners, the tires are gripping, aren't they, quite a lot? Whereas
Well, we
you
got a
tend
lot of
to-
roundabouts.
well, except but like you kind of I tend to. I mean, I don't chuck my car into corners and like that. I mean, I drive on the motorways at 66 miles an hour because I found it's the most eco, and I need to save as much money as I can do. Because
Especially
Yeah.
these hard times.
When I was driving my lad, my
fuel prices are
first
going up again.
my first car in
course.
Ireland was a Lada, and
You've told us this before. It's
but
amazing.
I
Do you have a picture of it?
I don't. Oh, just Google it.
Well, no, but I don't want to look at. I know what a lad looks like. I want to see what your lad
It's
looks
not.
like.
Mine was a Lada Samara, All right, it wasn't your square ones. All right, it was a hatchback, 1.3 liter. But I use peel out all the time. I was a kid. All right, and I use constantly peel out. So my front tires needed to get replaced a lot more than my rear. But anyway, I hope my dad doesn't ever listen to this podcast. I'll be in trouble.
I like it.
But there's an entire joke book dedicated to ladders.
Oh, yeah.
Here's one. Like what do you call a ladder on a hill? A miracle. Why do ladders have rear window defrosts? To keep your hands warm when you're pushing it.
It's basically a lemon, is it? It's basically a lemon.
Yeah. They're a Russian car. You see them actually. If you ever see like a movie that's set in Russia back in the 80s, all the cop cars were ladders.
Okay.
Just to go through some of the comments just here because we have had a bunch of them.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. We're getting love. I love it.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of love, but we're going to have to work out a more
it.
efficient way. Just very quickly, this is something we're going to look at doing on a reasonably frequent basis now. I don't know. It's been quite. I've really enjoyed having that interaction from people and having like stories coming in. It's been a lot of fun actually having that. Right. So,
was there a question of like, are people going to enjoy it? Do we need to do more? You just kind of just said randomly.
Yeah, I think there was a question there, but
there
what you just said, what you just said. UK equivalent might be Halford's Auto Centre. That was to the Fast Lube or whatever it is. Jeffrey Lube. Yeah.
Right.
Timo says we'll make a mechanic out of Chloe.
Yay! I'm up for that.
Oh yeah. Dave says don't forget a hammer. A hammer's another tool that you have to have.
Oh my god, that's so useful.
Hammer is one of the amount. So I'm trying to remember what the first time I took.
Sledgehammer on mine. The amount of things you can fix with that.
It's ridiculous. I was like, I went into I brought my truck back for the first time. I took it to the mechanics in the shop, and I said that this needs doing here, and he just brought out this sledgehammer. I was like, I expected you to have like, I don't know, something, but no, we're just gonna hit it. We're gonna hit this thing really, really hard because
can.
That makes sense. Yeah.
If you're in America, a pair of vice grips is very, very, very handy.
Funny enough,
it is.
The lad that I was talking about, who's in Canada, he's currentently on the live stream right now. He's currently in the comments.
Oh, look at this.
Hello, Chris. How are we doing? By the way, I am Chris. I am going to be getting you on this. I don't know if you. I might have mentioned this to you. You don't know it, but you are. That's the thing that is going to happen.
Future guest.
Where was the other one? I've seen another one, and I've lost it. Keep talking among yourselves.
Do more live streams from Dave. Yes, we will. We also have an in and out for quick MOT.
MOT. MOT.
Yeah.
MOT, David.
MOT stands for Ministry of Transport, but it's got this byword because MOT can be so many different things. It's a test that you do on your car to make sure that it's all like everything's legal on it.
Gotcha.
I think that's probably the reason why. Because I've said this before when I was in America, the amount of cars that you see in America, and you're thinking, how is that road legal?
Yeah, do you not have MOTs over there?
That makes sure that you're.
Do you like have an inspection yearly, or to make sure it's road?
We have a thing
like
called
you
emissions.
say, there is a lot of cars out there.
Making sure that our but they're fading like. And down in Southern California, you got to do a smog test just to make sure that you're not. I think which is basically emissions. All right, but I think they outsourced. See, up in Washington, there was a place called emissions where you go through. They stick something into your car to make sure that your smog isn't too bad.
Yeah.
But they're not. I don't think they're doing that anymore. But then in Southern California, now that was ran by the government. All right, you go in, pay your $5 or whatever, right? But now in Southern California, they got a thing called smog test where they actually have. You got to go pay a mechanic to do it. So I just feel like they outsourced that, so the government wouldn't have to have their own buildings or whatever, right? But again, other states or whatever, But no, I don't believe that. I think that's the only. There is no other business. There is no other test.
So
which would explain a lot of the cars.
Emissions is part of the MOT. That's part of it.
That's
Yeah.
one
but,
of the things.
But
yeah.
they'll check everything. They check to make sure that the suspension's okay. They'll check to make sure it's
The rust.
Like-
Although, if you just put a bit of duct tape over rust, you're laughing. It'll still
Wait,
pass.
that'll pass on MOT.
Yeah.
Timo,
But
we have an actual mechanic. Is that Timo? Can you
I'm sure
confirm
it
that
is.
you can put duct tape over rust and then this is okay? That
we
cannot
had-
be right.
we had an old camper, like a proper vintage T2 camper.
But that
Volkswagen
surely that
T2.
might is
And
that not going to be given
we
an
had
easier
to-
time?
Well, no, we put it through the MOT. It was my mum's at the time, and there was a bit of rust, so we were gonna get it done up over certain stages. So to get it through the MOT, all we were told to do is just put duct tape over it. And then I had a car once as well. My old Peugeot I had. The rear light was smashed, and they said as long as you just put red tape over it, you're laughing. As long as
Wow.
no white's showing, you're laughing.
What
I
if you
was
put duct
like,
tape
"Sweet."
over the check engine light so you can't see it? Would that be fine?
People do stuff like that. I had an
Well,
Audi that I
technically,
bought.
I'm
and
sure I've
someone
seen
had done
this. If the check engine light, if you technically remove the bulb,
Yeah, that's what they did on
light's
my
not on.
Audi. That's what they did on my Audi. They
no,
did
wait,
Yes,
genuinely.
when I had an O2 plate and Audi. I had it. Well, this was ages ago when I first passed, and I put it through the MOT. The first MOT I put it through, and all these faults. Taking light bulbs out of, I think it was like the airbag fault, engine
Wait.
light fault. There was a
This is
few
when you
things.
bought it. You bought
I'd
it
had
like
it for
that.
a couple of months. Yeah, I'd had it for a few months. Bought it like that. Obviously, I none of the wiser.
Did you buy this from Matilda's dad? Was there sawdust in the gearbox? Right, anyone remember this? No, Matilda.
No.
you remember Matilda?
yes.
Oh, it was such a
He
great
always-
one with Danny
Yeah.
DeVito.
The one with
in
Danny
it.
DeVito?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, he sold dodgy
that's
cars, didn't he? No, it was a lovely car, but it just had a few faults. But yeah, they obviously realised that. Oh, smash the bulb. There you go. Is that legal?
Is that legal? I don't think it is. Oh my god, this is Timo. You lot are like our customers. So engine management now is from
0703 for petrols.
petrols. And if the light doesn't come on, then go off, it's a fail.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because it comes on automatically, doesn't it?
Oh, and he's also replied to the duct tape to shield sharp edges that could cause injury. Yes, pass and advise, i.e. structural within 30 centimetres. Oh, right, so basically... What?
I'm right
So you
again.
can't duct tape? What is happening? Should
It is obviously a limit,
you know what?
isn't it?
Should I just give you the lead host on this or not?
I know.
And I think the last comment we'll leave on is Skip Dudes, who says Chloe buys the worst cars ever. Yeah,
I do not.
I would.
Screw you.
From what
Well,
you've
he
told me,
would
you
know.
have just told us
That
one
was
of them you had to duct
unlucky.
tape. The other one came without any bloody. Like, it had bulbs removed.
I've not done well with vehicles, all right? I do try.
Oh, right. On that note, let's end this. Let's finish. Let's. It's time up. David looks like he's wanting to go another hour. He's like, oh, is it really?
I'm
the time
fine.
or-
It's still early. It's only 11. It's only 11 a.m. here.
No, we need to. That's us done. If you have been watching, make sure you click the like and comment and subscribe.
I prefer if they click the share
Subscribe.
button and just share it to everybody
share,
they've ever met,
yeah.
ever known,
Yeah.
ever will know.
Make sure if you're listening to this on iTunes, leave us a review, please. That would be amazing of you. If you want to go and buy some t-shirts, like with the ones that we're definitely not wearing, but we should have done, but yeah, we won't talk about that right now. Go to salmonslap.com and yeah, is that it? We done? Any other
we're
comments?
done.
Any other housekeeping before we go?
What kind of car do you have? Says Richard Bryant.
What car have I got now?
Yeah.
I've got a Rio 2008.
That checks out. That fully
It only
checks
cost
out.
me 800 quid, so I'm laughing.
Oh, there we go. No argument with there.
Amazing.
It's lasted me over a year.
All right.
MOT.
Well,
So it's not that bad. All right?
awesome. Thank you very much. We especially Timo, Skip Dude. We have a few others doing who commented a lot. We had Chris
Black Hawk.
Hayward.
We've got Neil Thomas was another one.
Yeah. Dave, NASA the Mother
Oh,
Trucker.
so many.
Nessa.
Nessa.
thank you,
Do
Nessa.
we know Nessa?
We do know Nessa. She has been on. She has been on, and she will come on again. She was supposed to come on this one, but there was a microphone issue, and there was a cable that didn't work with something or something. I can't remember what it was.
Stay
but there
tuned.
was
She'll be on.
But let's finish.
Okay, right,
let's.
sorry.
1 second. Oh, let me just move. Let me just move and look at it. Thank you so much for listening. And if you haven't listened, how is it you did get this far? But we shall see you next time. Bye.
All right.
Yeah.
Take care.